The book Stolen is about a kid named Sam who is forced to move to Australia. After he moves, he meets a strange girl who is counting pie in the beach next to the dunes. He has the courage to talk to her, even though he's an introvert at heart. But when he talks to her, she ignores him. Then she starts talking to him. At first, they talk about history. Then they go and explore for a little bit around the town. After exploring for a bit, Sam asks for her name, and her name was Annabelle. They got back to the beach when all of a sudden a dog passes by with a huge piece of wood. Annabelle starts to chase for the dog when all of a sudden she slips. Then Sam overtakes her and goes for the dog. The dog reaches her owner. Then Sam asks for the piece of wood in the dog's mouth. The owner is sorry for the dog's behavior. When they take the piece of wood out the dog's mouth, the piece of wood looked like a piece of the Montgomery ship that was lost like 500 years ago. Sam is surprised that most of the people there know Annabelle. When he then finds out the owner is Annabelle's uncle. After examining the piece, he doesn't know if it's a Montgomery piece of the ship. Sam goes home. There's a storm during the night. He stays up when his dad wakes up and asks him if the move was okay and if he was alright being here. He said he was fine. Then, later that day, he went to visit Annabelle. They then find a huge hollow piece inside the sand, which was actually a half of the Montgomery ship. When they go there, they explore it. Annabelle goes inside. All of a sudden, the sand fills up the thing. Annabelle is stuck inside the sand. She couldn't breathe inside all that sand, so out of desperation, Sam digs with his hand. Her uncle was there with a shovel trying to dig her out. Then all of a sudden, Sam finds hair. It was Annabelle's hair. They try to dig her face out so she can breathe. Her face was dug out. Now she can breathe, but not very well since she was still on top of a few pounds of sand. Try to dig her whole body out. They got one arm out. They tried to dig up the rest, but more sand kept falling on top. So they tried to pull her out with the one arm that was out. Annabelle was screaming in pain, but they got her out. Then they went to the hospital when the pain went through Sam's hand, and when he checked, it was covered in cuts and a lost fingernail in his hand. After that, more people came to see if the Montgomery ship was real, to see if they can get fame from it. What they got from a ship was an old teapot that they can refurbish and put it in the museum. Sam was excited because he thought there was going to be treasure, but Annabelle crushed his dreams. After that, there was news of someone stealing the peacock from a museum. That was the precious peacock they once found that was part of the Montgomery ship. They let the cops handle it. They asked for leads from the neighbors, but they saw nothing. After that, they tried to find the peacock themselves, but they couldn't find anything. So Annabelle tried to solve it logically with a smile on her face. Annabelle suspects that the electricians could have done the robbery. She also suspects the workers from the museum. They asked why the lock was unlocked. So they came up with the conclusion it was unlocked with a key. Then someone smashed the window to make it look like it was not unlocked. They think a worker named Pete stole it since he wanted to work the night shift the night before. They suspect that he wanted to work it so that he can turn off the power and grab the peacock without getting noticed. So when they were exploring, they found a rowboat. They think the rowboat was used so they can steal the peacock without getting noticed since it was gone the next day. They interrogate Pete, one of the workers. He tells them where the peacock was, and when they retrieve it, they go explore the beach again. They find another piece of the boat, but in this piece, they find some ancient treasure. In the end, Sam made a good friend named Annabelle.